Coachella Day 3. We have 2 Código tequila sodas for $88 with sugar-free Red Bull.
You either have to be incredibly stupid or incredibly rich to spend $88 on 2 drinks that probably cost about $1.50 each to make. Well, maybe you're both.
Austin got me a spicy pizza, and this was $0.
Right, the pizza was free because the guy bought it. Let me just spoil it. This girlie was dumb enough to buy 4 drinks at Coachella for $167, and that was just one of the days. I mean, you couldn't waterboard this information out of me. You should be embarrassed to be caught paying over 20 times the price for drinks, and I'm not sure why it's a trend to openly display how stupid you are with money.
With me to Nobu at Coachella, easily the best thing I've ever spent my adult money on. For $375 each, that is a total of $750. Here's what we got. As soon as we sat down, they brought around oshibori so we could wipe the Coachella dust off our hands, and then some edamame, al dente, and perfect amount of salt. Then followed the yellow tuna jalapeno and salmon dry miso. Not only are they super classic dishes at Nobu, but also just in Japanese culture. It was very classic, very refreshing. It was giving welcome to Nobu.
Authentic Japanese culture is laughing at you right now for spending $750 of your adult money on a meal that would cost maybe $40 in Japan.
I mean, look how happy these people are to get ripped off by their $13 coffee. Yeah, let's rob this one for $17.
You guys, we got another $17 coffee.
Look at these two. They're thrilled the restaurant's robbing them. Yeah, nothing says bragging rights like filming yourself celebrating being swindled.
Well, these 2 women at Nobu thought that Greta Thunberg was profound enough to include at the end of their video, so they probably aren't that smart. Now, I don't know the economic state of these particular individuals. Their adult money could be from a multi-million-dollar trust fund, and burning $750 on a mid-experience may not be that big of a deal. However, let's not pretend that there aren't a vast number of people with regular incomes who are spending an insane amount of money on these things. Coachella wouldn't be able to charge that much without a pool of morons agreeing to extreme ripoffs. Now, you may think it's not that big of a deal because it's just one occasion, but in reality, these choices don't happen in isolation. The kind of person who makes a financial decision like that is also overspending elsewhere. And if everyone does dumb stuff like this with their money, it will start to affect your life and your freedom, whether you are a participant or not. But before I say more, recently a jury ordered Meta and YouTube to pay millions for their role in designing and promoting addictive platforms. They knew their apps could contribute to anxiety, depression, and body image issues, but did not share those risks while prioritizing profits. If you or your child spent years growing up on social media and experienced serious mental health struggles, you should hear this. Morgan & Morgan is stepping up to hold these platforms accountable for the harm they caused. You can use the link in my description or scan the QR code to take a short quiz to see if you qualify for a case. You may be entitled to a potential recovery of over $1,000. Alright, so the thing that continuously disgusts me the more I get exposed to TikTok or social media in general is just the vast numbers of people who routinely think it's some sort of flex to show that they overpaid for something.
We are going to be doing a handbag video today of my most used Louis Vuitton bags over the past year.
Literally, you better be a billionaire if you're wasting money collecting luxury bags, because I don't even think it's that much of a flex. The reality is that anyone with a credit card limit of $2,500 can afford a bag that says Louis Vuitton on it.
I picked their most classic piece, the monogram briefcase. The way this bag was put together was mediocre, even though it's such a simple design. Let me tell you what coated canvas really means. It's fabric coated with a durable layer of plastic on top. This is an $1,800 briefcase made of fancy plastic.
That's great. Later in the video, the guy says, if the logo was invisible, would you still buy it? Obviously, for a large percentage of the market, the answer is no, because a part of Louis Vuitton's business strategy is to sell stuff to broke people who want to pretend that they're rich. Actual rich people will buy expensive items without the logos.
I stood there looking at this $1,800 briefcase in pieces, and I felt foolish because I realized how powerful their marketing was. I had believed price meant quality. It didn't. It meant desirability.
So if you're carrying bags with logos plastered all over them, you're probably not that rich. But modern society is just full of people making stupid purchases, whether it's overpriced luxury goods or it's 10-cent pieces of cardboard that go for tens of thousands of dollars. And yes, I understand that average people aren't paying this much for a Final Fantasy card, but just like with Coachella, The fact that it's possible to charge that much means that there's a market of Disney adults overspending on card games that were, at least originally, supposed to be for kids. Just watch any Caleb Hammer video and you'll see tons of these people.
You're getting almost on average, like 1 Labubu a day. We're very close to that. Like, give me 5 more Labubus and you will have gotten a Labubu every day the month that we just saw.
I don't think about it when I buy it. It's just impulse.
Okay, but you purchase it endlessly.
It's kind of like gambling, I would say. Like trying to get them online through PopMart.
$700 for Labubus in 1 month, if you're wondering. That's how much she spent on dumb collectibles as someone who, with her husband, only makes about $9K a month, which is still a lot, but it's not that much when you're spending close to 1/10 of your income on dolls. They also bought first-class tickets to Hawaii. What kind of idiot flies first class when they have a household income of less than $10K a month? Well, like I said, Disney adults do this. And they sure as hell are dressed like Disney adults with the Pokemon t-shirts and the Zelda tattoo.
I feel like I lost out on my childhood just not being able to have things like this, you know? Like, just
shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Like,
I think 8 years of Disney should kind of make up for a lot of that.
you know,
Yeah.
I love Disney. I love Disney.
Which is fine.
It's part of my childhood.
Of course. Now, I know this is a scripted video, but this was yet again another accurate prediction that I made before seeing this moment, further proving that you absolutely can judge a book by its cover. Also, let me be clear, it's not just people on Caleb Hammer doing this. Most people don't seem to understand the concept of desire is infinite, but resources are limited. And this lack of understanding causes them to make numerous quick and horrendous financial decisions for a small 10-second dopamine hit that will cost them years of work to pay off. And then they'll rationalize their credit card purchases like this.
So Netflix can buy HBO Max even though they're millions of dollars into debt and literally cannot even afford to buy HBO Max. But when a regular person goes into debt, then they're punished super hard for it and their credit goes down.
The reason why there's less judgment for stuff like that is because they're using debt to buy assets. And I don't think that this is limited to just the top 1%. When people take out mortgages to buy a house, people genuinely view that as a very positive thing, even though they're getting into debt in order to do so.
Yeah, that's really one of the core issues here. Outside of whatever dumb thing Netflix is doing, the problem is people going into significant debt to purchase liabilities. Liabilities are things that cost you money. Assets are things that make you money.
The difference is a lot of normal people are using debt for things that aren't going to make them money. They're using it for things like takeaway, concert tickets, holidays, or even just online shopping for clothes and stuff.
Look, I'm not going to pretend that I've never used DoorDash before, but what's really disturbing is that there is an option on the app to finance your purchase. Because, you know, if putting your McDonald's meal on a credit card wasn't enough, you can also break the purchase up into 4 payments. What happened to buying food at the store yourself? None of you are rich enough to be regularly using delivery apps. If you aren't making at least $150K a year, then you should be learning how to cook and fetching your own groceries. Because in a time where people are constantly saying that they want more luxuries and more expensive conveniences, really, you should be teaching yourself how to be satisfied with less. For example, recently I saw people laughing at this marriage proposal that took place at McDonald's, and granted, yeah, it's pretty ratty to propose at a fast food restaurant. However, they do look happy, and the point is that these people are making it work within their income range. You don't need to copy TikTok videos by paying for a massive first-class trip to France, followed by a proposal with the Eiffel Tower in the background to make a marriage work. Probably the most happy relationships I've seen are from people who have had modest proposals and reasonably priced weddings, including weddings that were nearly free. In fact, in my experience, the more extravagant proposals and weddings are more likely to end in divorce. Not to mention that I think it's insane to watch couples sacrifice a down payment on a house or money for a second car for, quite honestly, an experience that won't be that much enhanced by spending a ridiculous amount of money. And surely, there's no shortage of people who refuse to ask what opportunities that they're sacrificing when they overspend on short-lived dopamine hits, while at the same time romanticizing those terrible decisions on TikTok.
So I have a little bit of credit card debt, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that I moved to Nashville, Tennessee with not really that much money, and then I decided to fully furnish my bedroom. But I will say something I've learned over the past couple of months is that a lot of my friends also do too.
Okay, so you don't have to buy all the stuff new. You can use Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, estate sales, or other methods of purchasing things secondhand. Do people not know how to do this anymore? I mean, you'll get massive markdowns by getting things used. Oftentimes 80 to 90% because people are going to throw this stuff away anyway. You can probably furnish a bedroom for around $1,000 instead of around $5,000 or $10,000, which is likely what this person actually spent. You can even double up and use these secondhand purchases as an opportunity to learn how to clean and maintain your stuff. Imagine that in the modern day. But this girl is 25 and broke. She should not be using a credit card to buy brand new furniture. And the consequences of people constantly buying new shit instead of getting stuff secondhand and forcing companies to compete with used goods is that manufacturers are now not pressured to build things to last because idiots keep giving them demand for low-quality, cheap crap that they'll throw out in 3 years. So understand that we all suffer the negative consequences of these people's stupid decisions, and unfortunately, this whole thing of my actions only affect me is a myth. Humans are social animals. Your bad decisions and bad habits always affect other people.
Because at the end of the day, we're all just in our 20s trying to figure out how to live in a freaking universe where rent is like $1,500. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. And then our parents are like, why are you in so much credit card debt? I'm sorry that rent isn't $400 like it was when you were 25.
I'm not going to deny rent being more expensive than it used to be, but also my parents bought things secondhand and had roommates. You don't throw the financial baby out with the bathwater because housing prices aren't ideal. If $1,400 is a lot for rent, then it's pretty easy to find a one-bedroom apartment in Nashville for around $1,000. Or, you can not live in a city where rent's going to be a lot more expensive. Even when it comes to furnishing the bedroom, not only is she going to pay like $5,000 when she could have paid $1,000 for it if she just learned to Google, but also she probably just signed herself up for multiple years of $100 plus monthly payments, which will harm her ability to graduate from living paycheck to paycheck, and more importantly, because of credit card interest, she'll probably end up paying around $8,000 for something that could have been, again, $1,000 or less. So, way to pay like 8 times the money. That's why you're broke.
Not that I'm proud of my friends for having credit card debt, but I'm just like, oh, thank God I'm not the only one. But yeah, if anyone is like down on themselves for having credit card debt, same. Like, God forbid I decided to fully furnish my bedroom and then buy a lot of clothes for myself and, go out on the weekends.
This is why I've been saying that we should be less tolerant. Tolerance was a Trojan horse. We should not be tolerating people who act like idiots. The real reason why this person... Wait, what's this? Am I showing my bias too much, or are all these people just leftists? You had the Nobu girl shouting out Greta Thunberg. Then the Caleb Hammer chick had to fly first class to Hawaii to see her sister renew her wedding vows because that sister accidentally got married on January 6th and didn't want that to be her anniversary. Then you have the fuck Trump fan, even the first girl who spent almost $90 on 2 drinks. Granted, based on my professional internet stalking skills, she probably is the most financially responsible one in the group. She might actually have the income to afford those dumb purchases. But she lives in Austin, was a psychology major, and works for Google, so like 95% chance that she's a leftist. I'm noticing a pattern. Now, I'm not saying that people on the right are never stupid with money, because I've seen many who are. However, what are the odds that most of the people who are out there constantly saying that we need more welfare are just bad with money, and they want the people who aren't to pay for their dumb choices? Like I said, even if you are personally responsible with your money, but lots of other people aren't, their bad spending habits will not only inflate the prices of everything, but also they will vote away your freedoms in exchange for welfare bribes from politicians. Anyway, so this is why I was saying that we need to be less tolerant, and the reason why this chick is being financially stupid by going into debt to buy brand new furniture. I swear, if I found a video of her saying that she's an environmentalist. But the reason why she's buying the new furniture and the reason why she's in an apartment that she can't really afford, followed by clubbing every weekend, is because all of her friends give her social proof by doing the same stupid stuff. If she actually had good friends and they saw her upload a video like this next one, they would say, what the hell are you doing?
The best part about moving from a tiny little town to a bigger city, being able to fucking Uber Eats in 30 minutes. Like, what do you mean? I just ordered Taco Bell and it was delivered to my door within 30 minutes. And now I'm eating it. I just go home from the bar. And you best bet I'm always going to pay for priority because it's only $5. And they bring it to me first because I live like 7 minutes away from Taco Bell.
Literally, what's the point in living in a city where you pay a premium to be close to things if you're just going to DoorDash everything? Well, Uber Eats, but that doesn't sound as good when you turn it into a verb. She's DoorDashing and paying an extra $5 for every purchase because she's impatient, and because she doesn't want to spend maybe 15 minutes round trip to go get Taco Bell herself. And if $1,400 a month for rent is expensive to you, then you don't have anywhere near enough money to be ordering delivery meals with priority shipping on a regular basis. By the way, to go on an incel rant here, the reason why men aren't marrying chicks like this is because they see the way that you spend money and are like, fuck that. I'm not going to give her access to my finances. I'm not going to be responsible for her credit card debts. Also, so much of this mentality comes from TikTok that I'm tempted to say that having a TikTok account is a red flag. We have to stop tolerating this shit because if we don't, these people will then turn into useful idiots who can be bribed with food stamps or rent control in exchange for voting for bad policies that make society worse. So no, it's not a good thing that you're financially stupid, and so are all of your friends. It's also not a good thing when you use each other as retard group therapy, where you just enable each other's bad habits and give social proof to everyone's awful decisions, instead of trading money-saving tips like people used to do. Like if I told my friends that I spent almost $90 on 2 mixed drinks, I would be ridiculed like crazy. Yet so many stupid financial behaviors are just normalized now.
I don't consider a car loan real debt. If you live in America, who doesn't pay a car payment every single month?
I don't, but I mean, if you can't afford a new car, then what's wrong with just buying a vastly cheaper used car? How many monthly payments are these people on? Every time you add monthly payments to your budget, you kill your ability to build wealth, and you kill your ability to escape living paycheck to paycheck. Also, understand that you're making cars more expensive for everyone else when you take out a big loan to buy a new car that you can't actually afford.
The cost of school only went up when we started introducing federal student loans. You could borrow as much as you want to get any degree you want from any institution you want. And we kept raising it. Then they hired administrators, turned them into campuses of like luxury water parks and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
This is stupid.
Like $80,000 a year to go to a school, I think is a little bit much, right?
Yeah. We tried to do things that are nice and performative, like, oh, student loans for everyone or rent control, all this stuff. But it's actually damaged those 3 categories, made them wildly more unaffordable.
Right. It's also the same process for car loans. And to add to Caleb's story, when I was in college, the government started giving out student loans like crazy, and I literally watched tuition fees for state schools increase from $1,000 a semester to $3,000 a semester over a 4-year period. The price tripled in just 4 years because of all the increased demand for useless college degrees that universal government student loans provided. So when you do stupid shit like buy a brand new car instead of a used one because you technically have enough money to make monthly payments if you take a 7-year loan instead of a 5-year loan, you are not only turning yourself into a debt slave for nearly a decade and increasing the price of cars by providing additional demand that shouldn't be there, but also on a societal level, you're enabling all of these authoritarian removals of ownership that car companies have been trying to incorporate into new cars since COVID, like charging a monthly subscription for a seat warmer that was already installed in your vehicle. And if we can just get enough financially illiterate people to say yes to that, well, then we can roll it out for everyone. They don't need everybody to consent, they just need enough people to consent. And the most frustrating thing is that people are making these purchases not because they need these things, they're doing it to copy social media influencers.
Honestly, like I just get so inspired by influencers. I've been influenced by a couple of Disney influencers. Like, I want to look cool and cute at the park.
You don't.
So why not?
You get inspired by influencers? Have you ever met influencers? At least half of them are like some of the most backstabby, irresponsible people in existence. Do you know how many of those luxury lifestyle influencers are lying to you by omission by renting those handbags? Or they're sponsored by the company to promote the stuff, or they have affiliate links that they make money off of. Or they have lots of stuff because they're sugar baby prostitutes, and they are giving sexual favors to rich men in exchange for luxury bags that they then sell. I believe it's a part of the prostitution scheme since it's illegal to give sugar babies money for sex. I did a whole video on Seek an Arrangement a long time ago. That's how I know how this works. Seek an Arrangement used to make videos teaching women how to use their website to legally get away with being a prostitute. Honestly, I think a lot of these luxury lifestyle influencers would be making this new TikTok personal shopper content if they had worse life RNG on their appearance.
Word of the day is double jeopardy. Double jeopardy. That means if you already been convicted of a crime, they cannot come and do anything else.
I'm pretty sure that's not how double jeopardy works. Never mind, there's no point in explaining it. This person is probably so uneducated that she thinks that term came from a TV game show. But understand that influencers are deceptive on a pretty regular basis.
Apparently my uncle needs some new dentures and apparently teeth cost $68,000.
So he's getting like veneers or some shit?
I think so, yeah.
And who's paying that, you?
That's what they asked, but I'm gonna be honest, like, that's a lot of money. And then also, Bad wants two houses in Vietnam. But I'm gonna get him the houses, but the teeth, I'm gonna put a pause on that.
Oh, well, he's so nice. He gives money to his family, right? Yeah, but the reason that he's mentioning that on stream is to get clout and make viewers think that he's a good person. This is a business investment, not a charity. If it was a charity, he wouldn't bring it up to his followers. Wait, does this technically count as a tax write-off because he made content out of it? I know that's a reason why Pokimane shows off all her gift giving on stream. It's because she gets PR points for it and she can write those gifts off, which in her tax bracket living in California has to be like a 50% discount on the purchase. Now, I'm not sure what Pokimane or Jason the Ween's actual finances are, but whether they're responsible or not, time and time again has shown that people who base their entire personalities around luxury lifestyles and making it rain for everyone very often end up broke, even if they had millions of dollars.
A lot of these influencers, you will see, are going to mirror the life of NBA pros. A lot of NBA pros have a career. It's 4 years long. They get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars, and they spend it like it's going to live forever. And it's simply not. If you are not making, at minimum, $250,000 of content creation a year, you better be working a job. You better be working on a side hustle. You better be working on a business, and you better be fucking investing, and you better stop spending this money like it's going to be here forever.
He's absolutely right. If you make under $250,000 a year as a social media influencer, you're broke and you should live like you make nothing. And the reason for that is because this career path is very volatile, and you might be doing great for a few years, and then you fall off like crazy, make nothing, and start blaming the algorithm for shadow banning you. Really, it's a lot of work to stay relevant for a long time, and because of that, you might have to make an entire lifetime of income in the span of 5 years because that's all your personality or your skill set or your topic choice is relevant for. Well, unless you rebrand, which is incredibly difficult, and very few people succeed at that, and it's going to be much harder to rebrand if you're stressed out about money because you didn't manage your finances properly. Now, with that in mind, how many influencers do you know who are spending money responsibly? Most of them aren't. Most of them have the same stupid YOLO attitude that these Disney adults on Caleb Hammer have.
These people who you see as celebrities, as icons, will live a meaningless life of ruin in the next 5 to 10 years. You will see exactly what I'm saying. A lot of them are making barely enough just to get by. They've developed no life skills, no work skills. They can't take care of themselves, as well as not being able to cook, so they have to DoorDash everything, as well as their egos are through the roof, so they buy these lavish houses and participate in this very impressive, very glitz and glam lifestyle in order to keep up with all the other egomaniacs in their field.
Right, and I don't think it's that much different for regular people in society. We have infinite access to good information that used to be incredibly difficult to learn, yet more and more people have so few life skills that the people who do have these skills can overcharge like crazy. Eventually, people are going to be paying $100 to have someone screw in a single light bulb for them. And understand that yes, some of these skills can be a pain in the ass to learn, but also understand that there is a finite limit to how much money you will make during your lifetime, and if you continually waste it in places where it's not necessary, then you're going to end up sacrificing important life experiences because you wanted to DoorDash instead of cook your own food.
How much did you spend on Pop Mart last month?
Probably like $700.
Yeah. And he's willing to leave you, and you're choosing $700 in La Boo Boos. That's what you were choosing over your marriage and your child having a fully combined household that doesn't have to go back and forth every week.
This is not hyperbole. Her husband wants to divorce her because of her overspending, and she is literally choosing La Boo Boos, Disneyland, and first-class flights over her spouse and her 2-year-old child. Where's the glamour in that? Not to say that the husband isn't also financially irresponsible, though in this case, she's more of the problem. However, understand that this is the choice that they're making when they refuse to learn how to handle their money. I know that Caleb's show is designed to make light of this stuff, but actually it's quite sad when you see a mother who cares more about tiny dopamine hits that she gets from buying collectibles than she does about providing a stable family for her child. And in addition to that, they want a second kid, but they can't afford it because they're too irresponsible with money, despite the fact that they make more than the average family, maybe spend a little bit less on food. And this isn't just on that level, it's on every level. Discipline equals freedom, and if you don't behave in a disciplined manner when it comes to money, then people will take away your freedom.
Meta announced last week that they are enforcing the digital equivalent of a GoPro on every Meta employee in the US. It's a keylogger and screen recorder that they have to keep running on their computer all day. He tells them you cannot take this off during company hours. 9 to 5, I own your ass, okay? You signed the papers. And I mean, imagine if you're one of those 80,000 people or whatever subset is getting the GoPro. Imagine how devastated and dehumanized you feel. And the only reason Meta knew they could do this is because of the doomer narrative around AI and the loss of jobs. They laid off 8,000 people in the same month they announced this program. And do you think that's a coincidence?
Why do you think they're putting up with this? Do you think someone who is financially secure would ever subject themselves to a situation where their boss constantly monitors every single action they take? Is the DoorDash worth it? Or can you just go get Taco Bell yourself, or better yet, learn how to make tacos? Is the brand new furniture worth it? Or is it maybe a lot easier to spend 20 minutes Googling secondhand items instead of doing an additional 100 to 200 hours of work at your job because it's mentally easier to buy things that are new? It is insane the amount of additional work people will subject themselves to because they don't want to learn about new ways of being. I'm not kidding when I say that people regularly do an additional 100 hours of work or more because they don't want to spend like 20 minutes Googling. In fact, some people waste multiple years in college only to find out that they don't want the career path they studied for, when the reality of that career path could have been Googled and researched in a few hours. This mentality is one of the core problems in our society, and more importantly, if you skip out on the basics of finances like learning how to not overspend, as well as learning money-saving techniques like going to estate sales, then you're not going to understand the more complex bullshit that politicians pull to screw you over.
Imagine working 9 to 5 for 40, 50 years, and you made it. You finally saved up, a couple $1 million so that you can enjoy your retirement. And then the Federal Reserve prints 100% of the money supply, and you lose 50% of your purchasing power.
You know what's really evil? Spending your entire life working towards financial stability, and then some banker asshole at the Federal Reserve steals half the wealth you built by doubling the money supply. Slavery was never abolished. It was just rebranded to be made less noticeable. And the primary way that people are enslaved is debt, because once you're in debt, you won't take chances and you'll put up with anything. That's probably why so many people have been groomed into student loans that they will never be able to pay off. The people who get degrees with low market value are not supposed to be able to pay their loans off. They're designed to trap you and turn you into a useful idiot who then can be easily fear-mongered and bribed into voting for policies that benefit banks. The second way you're tricked into slavery is through ridiculous taxation rates, especially when it comes to income tax. Meanwhile, that money is routinely misappropriated and stolen by scammers for the purpose of enriching themselves. Third is inflation. Because they can't just increase taxes every year, people would notice and get mad. So they have to have other ways of stealing your money, and when you notice the inflation, they'll switch back to increasing taxes again, and the cycle will continue and repeat itself. All of this is bad, and like I said, a major reason that people put up with it is because they have financial issues from bad lifestyle choices. I mean, let's be honest, no one's going to speak truth to power without a financial safety net. Your standards are very much based on your ability to take care of yourself if negotiations don't go your way. That's why it's called fuck you money. The good news, though, is that these lifestyle choices that are causing you problems are not that hard to fix, and you can put yourself into a position where you won't have to put up with bullshit. Obviously, that starts by training yourself in a skill that has a lot of market value, or by upgrading the skill set that you already have. Just Google it. But like I said, desire is infinite, resources are limited, and you need to adjust your lifestyle expectations into something that you can actually afford. If rent is more than like a fourth of your income, then you may be moving back in with your parents or finding a cheaper place to live, or team up with some roommates to lower the cost. Speaking of Asmongold, one of the interesting parts of his character is that he has millions of dollars and yet spends almost none of it. If Asmongold can figure out how to live astronomically below his means, then you can figure out a financial strategy that you can, 1, afford, and 2, allows you to build wealth. Living paycheck to paycheck is not freedom, so it's time to pull yourself out of that cycle. And when lots of people do that, and when they teach their friends and family how to do that, we'll have a great society. A lot of societal problems will fix themselves when people stop overspending. Anyway, thanks for watching, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next video.